All right, we are live on YouTube and also simulcasting live on Facebook. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, the Late Night with Coach Eli edition. Glad you could all join me here tonight, this late night on Thursday, going into Friday. Well, if you're on the East Coast, it is 1:48 a.m. Friday morning. If you're here on the West Coast with me, it's 10:48 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. West Coast is absolutely the best coast for streaming. And hey, that's where even YouTube headquarters is located, 22 minutes north of me in San Bruno, California. But before we get to the show here, let me make sure that the notification on YouTube has gone out. And it absolutely has. It has. Let me also check out the back end of YouTube and make sure it's rolling smoothly. And it is. It absolutely is. And as I mentioned a second ago, we're also simulcasting this live on Facebook tonight because there's going to be a lot of great information. And even people on Facebook watch YouTube. And people on YouTube are on Facebook. So, hey, it's all one big happy family in this social media, this crazy social media digital world we all live in today, right? Let me just make sure Facebook is rolling smoothly, okay? All right, let's see. Smoothly. And it is family in this social media, this crazy iPhone 12 Pro Max, a great phone. Today, right? It's rolling smoothly. Just make sure Facebook yes, is smoothly. It's a big phone. All right. It's almost as big as my hand. Well, let's just do that, right? It's a big phone. It's top of the line phone right now. Smoothly. So the 13 comes out, or the 12S, or whatever they call it, right? I'm watching myself. I'm watching myself on my iPhone 12 Pro Max while I'm live on the air. That's rather comical, huh? Oh, man. One more thing before we get right to it. Let me also take this opportunity to once again pay special props to this channel sponsor. That's none other than the great Troy Brewer. He's a great longtime friend of mine of 10 plus years. And he's been in business for over 15 years. He is a CEO, founder, and owner of the Discover Community Network. If you'd like more information about the Discover Community Network, please go to the description about a third of the way down. You'll find a couple of links there. If you're on Facebook, you can type in Discover Community Network in the search bar of Facebook, and you'll find the main site there and all of the subsidiaries of the DCN, and there are many of them. And if you are struggling with your branding and marketing, Troy is a genius. He can definitely help you. He'll give you a free, brief consultation to share more about how he can help you. And if you would feel more comfortable, going through me to make that personal connection for you, I'd be happy to set up a three-way phone conversation between you, myself, and Troy. So once again, Troy, thank you very much for your continued sponsorship and patronage of this channel. Much love from Coach Eli and the Coach Eli clan. That's right. Isn't that right, baby? That's right. But she's not here. She's moved on to bigger and better things. If you haven't been around for a while, you don't have a clue. That's more of like an inside joke that only people would know that have been following me for many, many years. Isn't that right, baby? That's right. Yeah. It was my act of pretending to seek validation from my ex-girlfriend when we used to run shows and videos on my former channel. Those are some good days. I'll never forget them. Anyway, let's get to the chat first here on Facebook. Nothing happening over on YouTube. Did I say Facebook? Let's get to YouTube. Nothing's happening over on Facebook. Let's see. Mike Perkins is in the house. What's going on, 810? Mike Perkins says, great to see you moving forward and stay away from that side, Coach. Absolutely. They're toxic. Let's see. Empress Janet likes up. Yeah, get those likes up. We have 8 likes. Please like, share, subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications. Mike says it's nearly showtime. Get those likes up for Coach. Well, thank you, Mike. That's before the show started. Let's see. Critical Mass is in the house. What's up, bro? Great to see you here. Good morning from Sweden. Great to have you on board, bro. Thank you for being here. Empress Janet says, host is awesome. Well, thank you for the kind words, Janet. You're pretty awesome yourself as well. Very awesome. So awesome, Janet. I'm going to give you a personal, big, huge round of applause. Janet, you've been absolutely amazing lately. I mean, you're amazing, period. But I have to tell you, Janet, we make a great team. We make a great team, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm very, very proud to be your friend. I'm glad that we've been able to work things out and move on forward to bigger and better things to truly help people with whatever they're struggling with so they can overcome it and they can all share the greatness they have deep within that they may be struggling to let out for whatever reason. We can help them bring it out, right? All right, let's see. Good to see you at A Grip on Life, says Critical Mass. I was typing in the chat before the show started. Sup at Critical Mass. We need to touch base again soon. I miss you, man. I miss him in a very friendly way. Because guys can be friends, right? Guys can be friends, not involving anything else. I don't feel the need to clarify that, but some people take me way out of context, so I mentioned it on their behalf, right? Critical Mass Mike knows what's going on. That's his name, Mike. All right. Mike Perkins says, Coach, the platform cannot keep rewarding bad actors. It's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, we're going to talk about that here a little bit today regarding the topic. I'm going to get to that in just a second. And furthermore, Mike says, I'm just saying the platform really needs to rethink the direction it is headed. Okay? Folks, I've been thinking about this since my stream ended yesterday. I ended up doing like a almost four and a half hour stream. I ended up, after I was being simulcasted by another person, I ended up ending the stream. But I didn't end it. I put it on pause. And the other side thought that I was going off the air. Well, I left it on pause for 15 minutes, and since they're 3 hours ahead on the other side, I waited for them to go to sleep, and then I started up the same stream. And if you watch the replay, you'll see where I ended the stream initially. There's a splice, and then it goes right back into another, hour and a half of content or so, and I shared everything. I'm gonna share a few updates regarding that briefly as well, because that email that was sent to me yesterday was fabricated, and I'm just not gonna be dealing with anybody that emails me anything regarding the other side. The bottom line is that even for people that are legitimately trying to reach out to me to help me with certain things regarding the other side, I'm just not going to deal with it at all. I'm just moving on cold turkey because most of the time it's the other side just fabricating something to get me to talk about it, and then they do their thing and it just keeps on going. It's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It's pathetic. Let's see. Queen Helen Casey is here. The Queen is here. You're good. Thank you, Queen. Hashtag big phones. You mean big headphones, man? These are Tascams, bro. These are actually headphones that sound like $100 headphones, and they look like they're more expensive than they are, but they're only $20. And I have a couple of backup Tascam headphones because after a few years, when you use them, they wear out, the wires get bent and stuff, right? So I have a couple of backups that I purchased from Amazon. Folks, you should always have backups of certain pieces of equipment that could go out in any minute. For example, I have backups of my lighting that I use. If those bulbs go out, I mean, they last for a while, but if those bulbs go out, if you have a backup on hand, you can just, continue going on like nothing happened. And that way you don't have to say, okay, I'm not going to run any streams for a few days because one of my lights, my photographer's lights, the bulb burnt out and it can't light up my green screen to do my shows. I have to wait for one to be on order. Why not be proactive and have backups on hand? Why don't people think that far ahead? When you're a professional YouTuber or a professional creator, you should be thinking ahead and have backups. So I have backups for everything. I have a backup power adapter for my laptop in case it stops working, because things just wear out. You got to think ahead, folks. You got to think ahead. You got to think like a television studio. What happens if something, just burns out or wears out? You should have a backup ready to go, right? And then once you replace that, then you order another backup. So if it happens again down the road, no problem, right? But people don't think about those kind of things, right? They don't. Critical Mass. Hey there, Queen Helen Casey. Perkins says hello to Critical Mass. Empress Janet says yes. Hi, Queen, says Mike. Queen says hello, Mike. Critical Mass says hello at Mike Perkins. Lots of hellos happening there. No need to have male friends of the circular kind, Coach. See, dude, dude, come on, bro. I mean, I understand you want to have a little fun. A little drama is okay, but excessive drama is just too much. But I get it, bro. You want to be entertained, dude. That's fine. It's all good, bro. The billionaire, J-Rom account, I unbanned them. They're actually a real person. Let them talk. Please do not ban them. Hello, Coach Eli. Hello, billionaire JR BBW. We're just going to call you billionaire, okay? That's all we're going to refer to you as. Welcome to the show. Critical Mass says yes. Mike Perkins says that sock account name is great. Billionaire J-Rob BBW whale lover. Or BB whale lover, right? It could be BBW too, right? I get it. That is great. I have to say that's great. Listen, I do have a sense of humor. Just because you have a sense of humor doesn't mean it's a lack of professionalism, okay? Critical Mass. Have a backup, at least one of everything important. That's right. That's right. That's what I like about you, Critical Mass, a.k.a. Mike. You think ahead, right? You think ahead. So if something happens, you have a replacement part, right? Lord Gaelick's in the house. The Dark Lord has arrived. Welcome to the show, Lord Gaelic. How you doing, bro? Queen Helen Case says, hello, Lord Gaelic. Billionaire says, hello, Queen. Please don't hammer me today. We'll be nice to you, bro, as long as you're cool. Mike Perkins, Queen is tough with her hammer. Yes, she is, 810. So, folks, before we get to it here, if somebody decides to donate tonight, I have a pretty cool name for the donation fund. I'm not going to light up the donation fund on the screen unless at least one person donates. I'm not trying to incite donations. I'm just saying I have a pretty cool name in mind for the fund. So if you want to see that, we need at least one small donation to make that happen. But let's get right to the topic here, because what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to take the first part of the show and talk about YouTube and Google and what they mean by the phrase commercially viable. Let me just read the topic here. The topic is YouTube/Google commercially viable update in 2021, plus keep your friends close and your enemies closer. One more time, YouTube/Google commercially viable update in 2021, plus keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Now, last year, YouTube and Google, more so on the Google side of things, but they brought it over to YouTube as well, because obviously Google owns YouTube and they own a great product of a great suite of products, which is what I'm trying to say, that many of us use on a daily basis, and probably, it would probably make our lives a lot more difficult if the entire Google company shut down tomorrow. We're used to Google. If you're all used to using Google products, if you use at least one Google product besides YouTube on a daily basis, put a 1 in the chat. Okay? let's take YouTube off the table. If you use any other Google products besides YouTube on a daily basis, put a 1 in the chat. What do I use? I use Gmail. Everybody does, right? Because you use Gmail, right? I use Hangouts, right? I use Google search engine, right? That's 3. I use Google Maps on my phone to navigate. Google owns me. Google owns you. Google owns everyone, right? And if this video gets demonetized and somebody at YouTube is watching it, you know I'm right. You guys own us. You do. You own us. You do. But tonight, we're going to talk about who owns you, YouTube and Google, right? Because last night, I did a 4.5-hour stream, and I went off on Team YouTube. I went off on Team YouTube because they changed some policies behind our back. And I will admit, it kind of triggered me. It triggered me a little bit. It actually triggered me a lot. I was triggered. You want to go watch that stream after this show ends? Watch the whole thing. Now, I took a bunch of breaks in between. You can skip through that part, right? You can seek through stuff on the replays. When you're here live, I disable the rewind, also known as the DVR feature, because I want you to participate here live. But on the replays, you can seek past things, right? That whole entire stream last night, there's a lot of great information there, okay? Now, I'm going to update you on some of that here. Well, actually, I'm going to update you on the whole thing here tonight because I was thinking about it. And I said, last year, YouTube and Google started talking about this commercially viable thing. And I did a stream on that, back then. And a few people talked about it, but it still had not made a lot of sense to everyone. People were thinking that, Google and YouTube is going to shut us down if we're not profitable to them. That's not what it means. What it means is technically, like if you have, let's say, certain accounts that are open and you haven't used them in like a year or so. For example, I use Google Voice also. If you don't use your Google Voice number at least once every 6 months or something like that, I think that's what it is. It may be a year. I can't remember. I think it's 6 months. They'll send you a warning and say, we've seen no activity on your Google Voice account in 6 months. We will be terminating that account if you don't use it over the next 14 days. And they email you regularly to check in on you, right? So why should they leave an account open and give you a number to use when numbers are already limited if you're not using it, right? So in essence, if you're not using Google Voice, it's not commercially viable to them to keep that account open, right? Does that make sense? But there's a lot more to the meaning of commercially viable. And I'm going to explain that tonight, and it's going to make a whole lot of sense during the first part of the show, okay? It's going to make a whole lot of sense. Now, let me check out the chat here real quick. Critical Mass says 1. No one else responded. Okay, that's fine. I am cool, Coach. Looking forward to your topic. Do I know you, billionaire? Are you trying to fly under the radar because you don't want to get attacked? Is that what it is? I don't blame you. It's all right. But great to have you here. I appreciate it. Mike Perkins says, Queen would bash the enemies to bits with her hammer. That's right. And then Queen says, let them try it. All right. So let me do this real quick here. Let me go over to the browser screen and show you the same thing I showed you folks last year when YouTube updated this to be included on their terms of service, okay? So let's go over there. EMK's in the house. Welcome. Empress Genesis 1. I don't know how to use Google Voice anyways. That's okay, Queen. You can download the app on your phone. It's simple. It gives you a more private, personal number. It's actually a great free service. It's amazing. It's amazing. So let's switch over. And if you look up top here, okay, I also shared the link to the terms of service below in the description on the YouTube side of things. I will go ahead and share that in the Facebook chat. Okay, I just did in case there's one person watching over there. All right. So this is what it reads. Terminations by YouTube for service changes. YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion, because they are a private company, that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. Now, there's a greater meaning to that. There's a greater meaning to that, in my opinion, and I think it's going to make sense when I explain it. So many people have been asking, why are certain creators allowed to violate the terms of service or to monetize channels when they've circumvented the system to become monetized, right? Or let's say they had a former monetized channel and that was shut down. And when you have one monetized channel that's shut down, you're never allowed to join the YouTube partner program on any other channel. You're actually not even allowed to create a channel that isn't even monetized, which is what I'm trying to say. I can't even talk. Sorry, I'm jumbling my words. Forgive me. Okay. So why are they letting people get away with this? Why? Because it is very, very profitable to them. Like I mentioned last night. You got that one fast, Queen. It's kind of funny how they tried to pull that game all day. These people wasted all day trying to pull something on me again. And it failed. It was an epic failure. Anyway. These people don't know how smart I am and how well I know the system, that they thought that I was going to buy into that crap. And Janet says she loves my laugh, right? Hey, as long as one person loves my laugh, that's all that matters, right? Anyway. So YouTube changed their rules. It used to be that if you receive a copyright strike on a live stream or on a live stream replay, you get a copyright strike. That copyright strike stays on your channel for 90 days, and you aren't able to stream for 90 days or until that copyright issue is resolved. So, for example, it used to be when you file a copyright on a live stream or live stream replay, if YouTube approved it, that stream or live stream replay would get taken down, and that would disable that channel's ability to live stream for 90 days unless that creator would file a counter notification, and that would give the original claimant 10 business days to sue that person in the court of law, or YouTube after 10 days, which is a total of 14 days, let's just say 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, they'll reinstate the video, right? And they'll remove that copyright strike, and that will also lift the live streaming restriction, right? That's how it used to be. When someone else that I have a copyright strike on, still currently to this day, was able to stream on a channel that has had that copyright strike on for a little over a week, and also bought subs for that channel to qualify for monetization. Not only were they able to stream yesterday while my copyright strike's still on their channel, they also got approved for monetization the same day. And I'm sitting here and thinking to myself, what's going on here? It used to be that if you have any active strikes on your channel, that would prevent you from getting into the YouTube partner program. I went back and I looked for updated information on that today, and I cannot find that page that used to say, if you have active strikes on your channel, you do not qualify for monetization. I think YouTube is changing things, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay. I was thinking about this. Actually, the rule that was changed, I mentioned it yesterday, is that if you now get a copyright strike on a live stream or live stream replay, you are only disabled from streaming for 7 days. So after 7 days, even if that copyright's still on your channel, let's say you get a copyright strike on a live stream or live stream replay, you get taken down for copyright, you file a counter notification, right? That gives the claimant, 10 business days or a total of 14 days to sue you, or your video gets reinstated and the copyright strike comes off. With the new rule, regardless of the outcome or when the outcome happens, after 7 days, they lift your live streaming restriction. I was livid about this yesterday, and then I started to realize what's really going on here. Well, in order to realize this, you have to pay attention to everything that YouTube does from an internal standpoint, not just as a creator, right? An internal company standpoint. I follow everything religiously, right? They made these changes under the radar because they don't want people to figure out what I figured out. But because I figured it out, I'm going to put it out here publicly and share with you folks, right? Now, folks, if we go back to 2017, in 2017, YouTube introduced something that changed YouTube monetization forever. It used to be before that time that anyone could sign up for monetization as soon as they joined the platform, and there would be one or two options. Your video would be monetized, or it wouldn't be monetized at all. The only way videos were not monetized back in those days was if you had a copyright claim or a copyright strike on your channel for that video, obviously, right? It was the wild, wild west. Everything was monetized. Or if you had a copyright claim, it wasn't. Then, in 2016, around there, or at the beginning of 2017, before they introduced this yellow icon that we all know as the not suitable for most advertisers icon if you're monetized, right, today. In 2017, they changed the qualifications for monetization to now needing to have, or at that point needing to have 10,000 views. So instead of just allowing everyone to join the YouTube Partner Program the moment they start a new channel, they said, okay, we're going to change it and allow you to join when you hit 10,000 views. The watch time and subscriber qualification that's on there today wasn't there back then, right? So when I was on when I ran my former channel, I had to get to 10,000 views. And then they had already, at that point when I got on, they had just started to introduce the yellow icon, meaning not suitable for most advertisers. And a lot of content creators were getting demonetized because the artificial intelligence back in 2017 was so brand new that it was making mistakes left and right. And YouTube was saying over the course of time, as we manually review videos that get wrongfully demonetized, it's going to train our artificial intelligence to get better. And I'm happy to say, almost 4 years later, it's gotten a lot better. Is it perfect? No. Will it ever be perfect? No. But I will tell you, it's a lot better. And manual reviews have actually become a lot quicker. They have. But back in those days, a lot of people were getting demonetized. They were getting shut down. What was going on? The advertisers were getting upset. The advertisers were saying, you're showing our ads on videos that are not making sense, and we're not making money, and you're also upsetting our customer base. For example, why would you put a tampon commercial on a channel that's talking smack about women, like the MGTOW channels back in those days, right? It wouldn't make sense, right? What guy's going to buy maxi pads? What woman's going to watch that content? I mean, some of them do, but what woman really wants to watch that content, right? Okay? So that's when YouTube had to start taking a lot of action, right? Well, what happened? What's been happening, okay? Last year, in addition to that commercially viable thing I mentioned a few minutes ago and explained what it was, okay? YouTube put out an announcement saying that we're in progress. We've made some new arrangements with some of our sponsors, our advertisers, and we're continuing to make more arrangements with many advertisers that are okay with sponsoring more risque content. Okay, more controversial content, which is what they call it, right? So what ended up happening? More and more sponsors were starting to see value, and they started to make money sponsoring more risque content, more controversial content. That opened up my eyes at that point, but now it opens up my eyes more. Because now I know exactly why YouTube is letting certain people stay on the platform that many of you are wondering how they continue to get away with what they're doing. Mike Perkins, that guy, you know, well, I'm not going to mention him. You know who we're talking about. Most people that have been following me here for a while know who I'm talking about. If not, just listen to the example, okay? The reason why that guy has not been removed is because he's commercially viable. Every time somebody feeds $100 into his super chat system, YouTube and Google makes $30. He's commercially viable to YouTube and Google. Why? Because the sponsors now are okay with him creating that kind of content because they see all this money in drama and live stream drama panels. Folks, like just thinking about this is just, wow. That's what's happening. So, to go one step further, YouTube is becoming a lot like mainstream media. Now, we still have, creators outside of the mainstream media platforms that are on YouTube as well as the mainstream media. But let me explain to you why I feel YouTube's becoming more like the mainstream media. Because who controls what's said and done on the mainstream media? It's the sponsors, right? The advertisers, the big corporations, right? Who controls everything? The big corporations. Why do they have the money? So who do you think controls YouTube? Who do you think really, truly makes the decisions at YouTube? Is it YouTube or is it the sponsors and the advertisers? Or the advertisers, same thing. If the advertisers want to sponsor risque, controversial content, and they're now changing their mind saying, okay, a couple years back, we didn't want our ads on this stuff, but we're seeing huge revenue potential. YouTube, we're now cool with this. So be a little bit more liberal when dealing with people. Well, maybe conservative is a better word. Be a little more conservative with the yellow icon. That's a better way to put it, not liberal. Liberal would mean that they would give everyone the yellow icon. Be a little more conservative with the yellow icon. And if you give someone a yellow icon, put our ads on there anyway, right? No, Queen, this is not the Democrats. This is big corporate. This is the advertisers, Queen. Queen, this has nothing to do with left versus right. Now, if those companies are more so run by liberals and conservatives, I can see your point. But what I'm saying is that the advertisers / sponsors control the narrative everywhere. They're now controlling YouTube. I bet you all of these terms of services were changed to appease the sponsors. You tell me I'm wrong. Billionaire says there's a lot of hateful content on YouTube, but it makes a lot of money. I agree. I'm tired of the hateful content, Billionaire. But that content is profitable to YouTube and the sponsors. This is just funny. 4 years ago, the advertisers were ticked off that their ads were going on channels that they're now going on 4 years later. Why? Because now they're making a hell of a lot more money doing it, right? So what happens to cyberbullying and harassment, hate speech and vulgar language, inappropriate content? What happens to all those guidelines? Well, they're called guidelines for a reason, because it's at YouTube's sole discretion whether they want to remove that content or not. YouTube is laxing from removing that content. Why? Because it's profitable to them and their sponsors. The sponsors are okay with it. And if the sponsors are okay with it, or the advertisers that are paid the ad revenue to YouTube, then it's all good, right? You tell me if this makes sense to you, folks. You tell me. If this makes sense to you, put a 1 in the chat. If it doesn't, put a 2. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Billionaire says, maybe try Twitch, Coach Eli. I have a Twitch account. Nah, Twitch is not for me. Maybe I'll simulcast there one day, or start simulcasting there as well as Facebook, but we'll see what happens. I'm looking at other alt tech platforms as well, like DLive and some other ones. Empress Chan says, I agree, at a grip on life. Okay, Queen Helen Casey, it's mostly liberals controlling it. She mentioned that earlier. Well, maybe most of the liberals run the corporations. I can see that, Queen, but I honestly really don't think this has to do with political party preference. This has to do with what makes money. And look, both liberals and conservatives like to make money, right, Queen? I understand where you're coming from, and I respect your opinion, but I think it has to do with, what's going to make the most money despite your political party choice. Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to discuss this here tonight, in the first part of the show, and why I titled my stream YouTube/Google Commercially Viable Update in 2021, is because now I understand the true meaning of what's commercially viable. I mean, it has a lot of meaning besides what I'm mentioning here tonight, but this is an aspect of it, right? In my opinion, right? You have guys like that dude that's been coming at me for years, that's probably still talking about me to this day, to this moment, right? That, bought subs to monetize his channel, has a copyright strike on his channel actively, and is able to stream after only 1 week of having that strike, and is able to be accepted in the YouTube Partner Program while having an active copyright strike, whereas in the past, that was against the terms of service. All of a sudden, the terms of service changes? Why? Well, they created these terms of service to protect their money. And what is YouTube's money? The advertisers, right? So if they're changing their rules to go back to the lax ways they were in the old days of YouTube, when YouTube first came out, they used to call it the Wild Wild West. I think YouTube's heading back to the Wild Wild West. Why? Because the sponsors are seeing money in it, and they're saying, YouTube, open the floodgates back again. We're cool with that. We see revenue, huge revenue potential, right? Especially through the live streams and the drama communities, right? That's what it is. That's what it is. You tell me I'm wrong. So as much as that other dude we keep talking about circumvents the system to get monetized and gets away with creating hateful content, he's profitable to YouTube. That's all they care about. Because that's what the sponsors, advertisers care about. That's the truth. That's the truth. It is. Oh my God. Mike Perkins says, a fish rots from the head and this whole platform smells like Susan W., Smelly Rotten. Okay, I get what you're saying there, Mike. Mike, listen. Listen, this has nothing to do with Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube. I would not want to be the CEO of YouTube or Google, but especially YouTube. Running YouTube is a beast. You see, 810 Mike Perkins. YouTube said this before, and I actually believe this. What Susan has said before in the past, Susan, the CEO of YouTube, has said in the past, is that we're trying to create the fine line between taking care of our creators and taking care of our sponsors, right? They're trying to balance it out, right? It's not easy. They have to be profitable to even allow us to do what we do out here, bro. But at the same time, you know, they have to shut down certain content, but they can't shut it all down or else there's no money, right? I mean, seriously, man, I would not want the responsibility of running this platform. I don't think anyone's explained this better than I have. Seriously, this is as clear as it gets according to the recent changes that YouTube hasn't even gone public on. They're available if you look for it, but they haven't announced it, right? I haven't even heard other channels that talk about everything that happens on YouTube with millions of subscribers talk about this, right? I only found out about it because that dude I have a copyright strike on was able to stream and get monetized on the channel while having a copyright strike. And it's been on his channel for 7 days. I'm like, okay, there's something happening. I looked it up and I found that they changed their rules. And they changed their rules once again because that's what the sponsors and the advertisers want. They're seeing more money potential with the drama. It's drama content. It keeps people engaged. The drama market on YouTube is huge. Like Riff Muggles, one of my mods, was saying yesterday, this is now DramaTube. It is. YouTube, in my opinion, is going back to the Wild Wild West because that's what the advertisers currently want. Now, if the advertisers change their mind, then YouTube will then go back again to doing what they did 4 years ago. They'll start to, be a little more harsh with the yellow icon. Now, I think everyone's getting monetized again. Now, the floodgates are open again. At least that's what I'm seeing. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a creator out there that's monetized, tell me what you notice on your channel. Are you getting more green icons than before? Or are you still getting yellow, right? You tell me. I need more real-life, real-time data from other creators that are in the YouTube Partner Program. Empress Janet says, good content, like sub. Well, thank you. Good evening, Coach Eli, says Lewis Fuller. Good evening, Lewis. Welcome to the show. Queen says, hello, Lewis. Lewis says, hi, Queen, and everyone in the stream. All right, folks, we're at 42, almost 43 minutes. I'm going to cue up some music, step away, and I'm going to come back for another 20 or 30 minutes, and I'm going to talk about keep your friends close and your enemies closer, and what that means to me, and how important that is to your success, and how that's actually helped me overcome many issues in life with people. Even if they were out of my control, it helped me get it back into control or under control. So let me cue up some music here. Not me. I don't want to be monetized and I don't want their blood money. Well, I've earned every penny I made out here. So, I mean, I get what you're saying though, Queen, and that's your opinion. I respect it. It's all good. It's all good. I'm still on this page here. I should have been on the full screen. Let me go back here. It's all good. It's all good. I was on the YouTube Terms of Service page all this time. You were looking at a website with a miniature version of me on the bottom right. Well, it was over here, right? All right. Give me a second here. Let me cue up some music. Let me cue it up. Cue it up. Do 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 do. Let's see. All right, folks, music is all queued up. I'm going to step away for a, less than 10-minute break or so, and then we're going to come back and get to the topic. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So stick around. We'll be right. Whoa, wait a minute. Now we're set. We'll be right back. to get back down to business, Eli? Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube and also simulcasting live on Facebook. This is the late night with Coach Eli edition. Glad you could all join me here on this late Thursday night. It's pretty much Friday morning everywhere else. I can't talk. Okay, that's the tongue. No comment on the tongue there. It's still Thursday here in my neck of the woods. It's 2:43 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 11:43 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And once again, like I always say, West Coast is the best coast for streaming for obvious reasons, right? Tonight, we've been discussing YouTube/Google commercially viable update in 2021. I shared information regarding what's going on at YouTube and Google up to the minute. Information that has been made publicly available, but not brought to the forefront by Google or YouTube. I kind of figured it out after some things transpired last night that were a bit out of the ordinary, and now I know they're not out of the ordinary because YouTube changed their rules under our nose. Behind our backs, right? But I get why they're doing it. And I explained all that during the first part of the show. So if you missed any parts of that show, go back and check out the replay when it goes to a replay. Now, during the second part of the show, we're going to be talking about keep your friends close and your enemies closer one more time. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. How many of you, this may be a stupid question. I guess no question is stupid, but maybe you'll perceive it as one, right? How many of you have heard the phrase, keep your friends close and your enemies closer? And what are your thoughts about what that means to you? And has that panned out for you in the past? Because this is all about a shift of your mindset on how you look at things, right? Many people that don't understand personal development and working on yourself and loving yourself, many people that don't get that are not going to understand this. Those are the people I more so want to help understand this, because once you do understand this, it will change your life. It will change your life because nothing will faze you, and nothing's going to stop you, no matter how hard people try to stop you from reaching your goals. Nothing will stop you from actually reaching them. It's up to you if you want to allow people to get to you. Even your enemies are people that are perceived to be your enemies, right? I look at it as a perception, right? That's how I look at it, right? Now, let me read the chat here real quick, and then I will share my thoughts about this over the next 10 or 15 minutes. And then if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to go off the air and get some rest early tonight. Midnight is early for me. Sometimes I'm up pretty late. Tonight, I'm going to go to bed early. Let's see here. Mike says, I agree, Queen. I say we tell Google to, you know what, I won't say it. You folks can read it if you want. Many people aren't happy with Google. Is it a monopoly? Sure. But do I actually like Google? /YouTube /Alphabet Inc. Yeah, they have great products that make our lives much easier. YouTube is a great platform. There's nothing like it, right? Google search engine is still the best in the business. Now, I understand there are some other browsers that don't track you, and some people, feel that those browsers are better, but let's be real. There's no better browser out there that gives you the most information than Google. Google Maps has the best map service. I use it in my car through Apple CarPlay. It takes me where I want to go to. It tells me, what time it is. It tells me how many miles away I am from my destination. It tells me how many hours and minutes away I am from my destination. It can speak to me if I, turn on the audio portion, turn right at blah, 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 right? I mean, seriously, they have great products, right? But I understand why a lot of people don't like them, because using their services exploits a lot of our information, right? But here's the thing. For me, I don't have a problem with companies, tracking my spending habits as long as in turn I get to use most of their services for free. Like, think about it this way, okay? Before, smartphones, right? Before smartphones came out, we had to pay for GPSs in our cars, and we had to also buy independent GPSs that we would have to update every now and then, right? Some of them charge the service, some of them you just pay for the unit and then you get a lifetime of updates, right? But now, Google offers us a free GPS service. And all we have to do is allow them to track our habits of, how we spend money so they know how to target ads, to us. That makes sense, right? Now, a lot of people have a problem with that. I personally don't. I don't have a problem receiving targeted ads. And have I purchased certain things from targeted ads? Sure. When I go on Amazon, and let's say I'm surfing around, and I click on a product, and I say, okay, I need this product, but I'm going to hold off for a couple of weeks. I'm going to save a little more money or whatever. I'm going to budget myself to buy it in a couple of weeks or in a month, right? And let's say a cookie stored on my computer or my phone. And then when, I go to Google or wherever, that cookie follows me there and they're able to target that ad to me over there and tactfully remind me about that product that I need, right? When I first saw this happening decades ago, I was like, somebody hacked me, right? But no, nobody hacked you. They're basically tracking, what you are looking at so they can present ads to you that are targeted ads. It makes sense, right? And in turn, instead of charging you all this money to use the Google search engine or use YouTube to create content on, they give you that for free. I think it's a fair trade-off. Do you think it's a fair trade-off? What are your thoughts about that in the chat, right? Let me know. Empress Janet says, I learned a lot about the policies for YouTube. Thank you for teaching us, Coach, at a Grip Online. Well, you're welcome, Janet. There's a lot to learn. And I'm a guru on all this stuff. I mean, I could probably create a channel that just, teaches people about YouTube, and I would probably have a lot more subscribers. It's just not my passion. I will incorporate that as part of my coaching services on the business side of things, because a lot of people that follow me out here on YouTube are YouTubers and they're trying to make it into a business. So I take my business hat and share with them what I know about YouTube, so that way they have the best chance of being successful on the platform as well. So I get that. Thank you so much for that. So why keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, right? Ask yourself this question. Are your enemies truly enemies, or are they friends in disguise? Okay? Do these people that come at you and try to kick you down and try to prevent you from reaching success, or they come off as jealous towards you, do they really hate you? Or are they envious of you, right? And when I say they're envious of me, for example, using me as an example, I say that with a lot of humility. I'm a very humble person. But think about it. Why would anybody try to attack and kick somebody down if they didn't perceive you to be better than them, right? Because if somebody's completely happy within themselves and they're successful, right, they're not going to feel any need to go kick someone else down because they've already reached success and they're in a happy place, right? So in essence, you have to look at the people that you perceive to be your enemies or are perceived to be your enemies as friends. They actually like you, right? Now, does that mean the bad things they're doing to you are acceptable? Okay, no, they're not. And in some cases, you have to do what I've had to do to protect myself. because some of the things my enemies have done in the past have actually harmed me from making money and having my right to free enterprise, right? But I had to dig deep, and especially with what happened with me out here on YouTube, I had to dig deep and look back at my life outside of YouTube before I came out here on YouTube 4 years ago and see how I handled those things back then. Because everything I've dealt with out here on YouTube digitally, I've already dealt with in real life. So when I started to kind of, incorporate how I would handle things in real life on YouTube, that's what changed my life. My enemies in real life didn't really hate me. They were probably just jealous of me, or they probably wish they could be as successful as me, whether it involves making money or, getting a good woman or whatever, right? But would I get mad at these people? Do I get mad at my enemies? Well, I used to get triggered out here on YouTube. Why am I not getting triggered anymore? Why? Because I'm looking at it this way. The more and more my enemies try to kick me down, the more and more they're making me relevant. And as long as I know that deep within, it's going to prevent me from overreacting, right? And if I keep these people closer than my friends, I'm going to always know what they're doing in advance, and I'm going to be able to handle it and basically soften the blow as much as possible before it blows up out of proportion. That's the way I'm choosing to look at these things. Queen Helen Casey says, I blocked them. Yeah, you can block them, but here's the thing, Queen. Look, out here on YouTube, it's a little different. You block people, they can come in on multiple accounts, and that will distract your show. Okay? The best way to handle them is let them talk. If they're really out of line, then block them, right? Tackle it head on, address them like I've been doing it, right? But only do it for a reasonable amount of time. Like I had to go at this group of people for the last 3 to 4 weeks. And I had to really figure out what was going on. And it got to the point of where I'm so satisfied with what I figured out that it doesn't matter what they try to do from here on out. I can continue to move forward and run my business, and it's not going to affect me one way or another. In essence, I'm keeping them close to me because I'm saying, hey, I don't have any hate for you, right? Like I said yesterday on my show, I don't hate any of these people, right? They hate me, or at least they think they hate me. I think they love me in disguise. But I don't have any hate for these people. It all matters how you want to look at it, from your end, right? How you handle it deep within yourself. Mike Perkins says, Coach, they say you are over the target when you start getting fired upon. March towards the sound of the guns. That's the correct direction when surrounded. Well, I understand what you're saying by that 810. Billionaire says, Queen drops a hammer down on the trolls. She does. Janet says, totally agree at a grip on life. Like Janet says, and I say this too, it's about forgiveness, right? In order to be able to forgive people that are coming at you for whatever reason, right? You have to be able to have the capability of forgiving people. You have to love yourself to the point of where nothing bothers you, no matter what people say or do to you. You have to get to that point deep within. I've been sent a bunch of links over the last several days to a lot of these drama channels, right? And all these people go from panel to panel to panel to panel to panel, right? And some of these people I know are innocent and are feeding into the predators and giving them more content. And others, are not so innocent. But the point I'm trying to make here is that, you have some people, for example, I'm not going to mention names, but there's this one woman who talks to, she was talking to this one man online. He's much younger than her. Okay. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the main guy and that other woman, okay? I'm talking about a whole different person here, right? This woman, was talking to this one guy. She's talked to a bunch of guys through YouTube, right? And this guy actually, I guess they connected through video, and he was playing games with her. And instead of her just saying, dude, you're not the guy for me, just, hey, have a good day, take care, bye-bye. Instead of her just saying that and just going away from the situation, she goes on someone else's panel and talks about this guy. Why? Because some people, especially a lot of women, are more into this than men, but men are in it too at times. She loves the attention of the drama. She wants to get the attention. She wants to play the role of the victim. Why? Because she's very insecure. No disrespect. I don't have a problem with this person, but she's very insecure. If she was secure within herself, secure enough at least, she would say, dude, you're not the right guy for me. I'm going to find the right guy. If you want to go and talk about me on your show all day and all night, it's just going to show you that it's going to show the world the type of person you are. I'm going to move on with my life and create real content or keep my mouth shut, right? And see, by her, not handling it that way, what's happening? It's creating the opposite effect for what she's trying to accomplish. She wants these people to leave her alone. But she's not realizing the more that she talks about this and seeks validation and attention, right? She's in essence feeding into getting more scrutiny. I had to figure that out here on YouTube myself, right? So when I say keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, right? When you keep your enemies closer and you look at your enemies like friends, and you look at them as just people that are going through something, right? And you forgive them. You say, hey, you know what? No matter what you say about me or do to me, I don't care. I even mentioned some other guy, who continues to come at me every now and then. He actually came out here to the Bay Area almost a month ago and spit on my father's grave, right? And I just, I put that on the back burner, right? I let it go. I let it go because I didn't want to feed into it because I wasn't going to give him any more content, right? Now, he came back, last night when I was on the air when I said, I forgive you, sir, for everything, right? And then he came back and said, I'm going to spit on your grave when you're dead, and I'm going to spit on all your family's graves. And I'm like, you know what? Cool. Thank you for the term of endearment. You see how I handled it? I'm not looking at this guy as an enemy, right? I'm looking at him as a friend, right? Whether he sees me as a friend or not, I'm looking at him as a friend because I don't have any hate for anyone, right? I'm keeping my enemies closer than my friends, right? And what does that do? When I'm secure within myself and I say, dude, look, if you want to drive across the country again and spit on my father's grave and spit on my grandparents' grave, and then when the rest of my family dies, you want to spit on all our graves? If you want to spit on all the graves in California, dude, go right ahead. It's all good. Doesn't bother me, dude. It's not a big deal. It just shows the kind of person you are. It doesn't trigger me. It doesn't affect me. Right? Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer. Right? And especially out here on YouTube, people make content out of everything. Right? So if you handle it in this respectful, professional, mature way, that's the best way to solve your issues, right? You basically leave these people with no other move. If you're not getting upset and you're just saying, hey, dude, I'm cool. Do what you got to do. Whatever you say or do doesn't bother me. Just do it. Just do it. I don't care. Not a big deal, right? That's when you put them in checkmate. They have no other move. And that's how I'm starting to handle things. So, folks, if you look at things in the way of keeping your friends close but keeping your enemies closer, if you look at your enemies as friends in disguise, that's going to completely change your life. Now, let me go through the chat one more time, then I'm going to wrap this up and go off the air. Let me see here. Right, says Empress Janet, to what Mike said earlier. Okay, Billionaire says, Queen drops a hammer down the troll. I read that earlier, okay. Empress Janet says, walk away with head held high. Absolutely, Janet, absolutely. Empress Janet says, okay, give me a second here. Okay, no, Billionaire says they hate you because they ain't you, Coach Eli. That's a good point. But I'm not trying to be any better than them. I'm not trying to be any better than anyone. And again, like I said, I'm looking at their perceived hatred towards me as love. That's it. It's a term of endearment in disguise. That's what it is. It's a term of endearment in disguise. Empress Janet says they are not trolls. Hurt people, everyone's voice matters. Okay, I'm not sure what you meant by that, Janet. Maybe you can clear it up. Empress Janet says, yes, forgiveness is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mike Perkins says, these people couldn't light your cig, Coach, let alone beat you. What do you mean by light my cig, bro? I don't smoke anymore. You trying to take a stab at me on that, bro? What's up with that, dude? You like throwing in those smart jabs every now and then. That's all good, bro. Not a big deal. Empress Janet, love yourself more than they could imagine. Don't hate behind your computer. Why are you judging not your place? Because some people think, Janet, that the only way they can gain and keep relevancy out here is by harming others. They're looking at it as, what I mentioned earlier. YouTube is practically going back to being completely one big drama poop show. And what puts butts in seats? You said it years ago, 810, on my former channel. Drama puts butts in seats. It does. But at the same time, it's not sustainable long term. It's not something that you're going to be able to keep going forever. If you create a business like I'm creating, that could be sustainable for as long as you want it to be sustainable for. Billionaire says, true, Empress, I forgive my wife for all that she did. What did she do, if you don't mind sharing, Billionaire? Empress Janet at Billionaire, proud of you. Forgiveness doesn't always mean deal with them again. Know what they are able to do to try to hurt you. Empress Janet with a bunch of emojis, the fire emoji. Thank you for that, Janet. Get your questions in, folks. I'll be going off the air when I get to the bottom of the chat. Nothing happening on Facebook. No one over there. There was one person there earlier. You are right, Empress, says Billionaire. Empress Janet says, how does that make him really look, and who follows that childish behavior? That's true. See, Empress Janet, when we don't get triggered and we just forgive them and accept what they're doing and don't get mad at it and just say, hey, it's a term of endearment, right? It's going to trigger them. They have nothing. You put them in checkmate and you walk away and let them burn themselves or bury themselves, right, Janet? That's the way it is. Queen with the googly eyes emoji. Empress Janet, you are better than them, brother. Well, I appreciate that. I don't feel I'm better than anyone, Janet. I'm just me. But thank you for that. I get what you mean by that. But I'm a lot more humble than that. I have a lot of humility, but thank you, Janet. I mean, I appreciate those kind words, but they're not necessary. But I know you mean well by it. So thank you. I appreciate that. Mike Perkins, no jab, Coach, is a different way of saying these people couldn't pour you a cup of coffee, let alone beat you. And again, Perkins, 810, look, man, I'm having fun with you too, bro. I appreciate you being here. I also appreciate the donations a few weeks back or a week and a half ago or so under the Jay Higgs account. Look, man, it's like I'm not trying to be better than anyone. And this is not what I teach people. I don't teach people to compete. Now, there's nothing wrong with a little friendly competition every now and then. But what it seems like is happening out here on YouTube is that everyone is in competition for what they perceive to be a limited space. There's plenty of space for everyone on this platform. You can all create individual greatness if you choose to do so. But it seems like within all these drama groups, they're all trying to kick each other down to be the king of the drama sphere, which they feel that will put them at the top as the king of YouTube or the queen of YouTube. And that's not the case at all. And it's not. They just don't get it, right? But again, it's never been about competition for me, bro. It's been about collaboration. I want to grow with people. I want to take people along on a journey with me. I'm not a selfish person. If I'm going to reach success on this platform, and I do feel I'm on my way, I'll say that much, I would rather reach success by bringing a bunch of people along that ride of success with me rather than doing it on my own. You can have all the money in the world, and if you don't have other people to enjoy that money with, what's the point? You can't take it with you. What are you going to do? Burn it? Wipe your culo with it? What are you going to do with it, right? Right? Empress Janet says he is a humble man. Absolutely. All right, folks. I'm going to get on out of here. I really want to thank you all for... I just checked my notifications real quick. Okay. I'm going to thank you all for being here tonight. We had an okay turnout, not too bad. You know, got 150 views late at night, not too bad at all. I will more than likely be back tomorrow for at least one stream. I'm not quite sure what's going on over the weekend. I still have a lot of processing to do regarding how I want to diversify my content from here on out. I'm going to be talking with BWYA Gaming at some point tomorrow, and she reached out to me to do a collab over on D Live. We're going to discuss that. Maybe we'll do it on D Live and simulcast it on YouTube and Facebook. Like, folks, the people that are going to work with me on collabs, I have the technology. We can really blow this up. We can simulcast things everywhere. We can put each other's messages everywhere. If we focus more time on non-drama stuff, if we just ignore the drama, and regardless of what these people do to us or say to us, we can create such amazing greatness. That's the truth, folks. So I'll be back at some point tomorrow, and I may have some more information regarding, the future of where my content's going to be. Regardless, I'll still have a YouTube presence. But, hey, I'm even considering actually doing some panel streams on a Grip on Life 2. Because the panel streams, I don't want to put them on my monetized channel because you can't control what people say on these panels. And every time I had a panel on this channel, I've had to move it over to Grip on Life 2 because it's not advertiser friendly, right? So if we do it over there, we can have a little more flexibility on the conversation, and we can take some more risks. Because if that channel gets hit with a strike or, gets shut down or something, it's not my main monetized channel. You got to think ahead, right, folks? So I don't have D Live, says Queen. Well, that's okay. No worries. You can actually access D Live from your web browser, Queen. We'll send you a link if we go over there. And you don't have, Queen, it's up to you what you want to support. You don't have to be everywhere. I'm just making people aware of the people in our community and what we're doing. But, Queen, I'll get you the information behind the scenes. And no worries, if you can't make it, either way, we still have lots of love for you. So, yeah, you can access D Live without an account. We just have to send you the link of the stream. Janet says, mad respect to the host, to the chat, to the bushes. Absolutely. All right, folks, have yourselves a great night or great morning, and I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye. Bye.